What's law enforcement thinking about when they head to a pretty volatile scene that they already know going in is going to be volatile?
Yeah, I spent over 20 years on a SWAT team, was a sniper, and this situation is one of the most dangerous. You have an individual who's already fired a weapon, so you know he's acting irrationally. The situation's very much ramped up because of that. Secondly, the fact that he's shooting a long gun completely changes the way the SWAT team's going to respond. A Your body armor doesn't matter what you're wearing. Your body armor does not protect you from a rifle. A rifle is going to penetrate any body armor. You may be wearing plates front and back, but still, that only covers a certain part of your torso. So that's incredibly dangerous. So you're going to have um, that's when a SWAT team's going to show up. If they have armor, they're going to show up with an armored vehicle. They're going to do everything they can do to protect themselves from an individual who has a rifle. Not only that, if that individual knows how to shoot that rifle, so you're doing as much background on them as you can when you're rolling out there, that rifle can be effective for hundreds of yards. Whereas a pistol's good for even a talented pistol shooter. It's good for about 25 yards, maybe a little more if you're really experienced, but it's only good for a short distance. That rifle, if you know what you're doing, again, you could be taking fire um, from hundreds of yards away from somebody who's concealed inside a residence. You can't see them. So it's a very, very dangerous situation. That's about as dangerous as it gets.
Does the calculus change when you're heading to a scene where there's already reports of shots fired in terms of negotiation versus just eliminating the threat? Does that calculus change at all?
Changes drastically. You have an individual who's already firing. So what's going to happen again? Fortunately, Ogden does have armor with their SWAT team and armored vehicles. That's going to be the first thing that's going to roll up, and you're going to determine if he's barricaded and shooting. There's going to be some communication. You're going to see if he's willing to um, negotiate and try to come out, but you're not going to spend a whole lot of time doing that. You have again a very dangerous situation where this guy is already clearly demonstrating that he's willing to shoot at individuals, and in his case, he's already shot at unarmed innocent civilians. So that's going to completely change again the calculus. You're not going to have officers approaching that residence. You're going to have an armored vehicle, and you're going to be talking to him over a loudspeaker that's connected to that vehicle and letting him know what his options are. And he doesn't have a whole lot of time to make a decision.
What's the challenge in trying to get neighbors and other residents and homeowners out of harm's way while dealing with an ongoing active threat?
Once the armor is there and you've done something where you think he's not shooting at neighbors, you have to be very careful about even having law enforcement going up to neighbors' residences again, because with that rifle, he can shoot them. So you're doing what you can do to see if he's isolated, if he's hunkered down in his residence, but then you do have law enforcement officers contacting those neighbors and telling them to stay in place. Don't come outside. You've got the streets blocked off with marked vehicles. So you're going to have police vehicles there blocking off the streets so nobody can drive down the streets. It's a all hands on deck situation when you have someone who's firing a rifle in a residential neighborhood.
You have about 2 decades of experience going into situations like this. Tell me from your experience, when you're sitting there, you've got your finger on the trigger as a sniper, what's running through your mind in a volatile situation?
You're very concerned because you're doing everything you can do as a sniper to try to see where he is. So you're looking in windows, you've got snipers front and back trying to see where he is. You're looking in windows, you're communicating with your team leader, and your biggest concern is if he comes to the window and raises that rifle, you have to take action. So it's a yeah, it's a very, very tense situation. It's something you train to do, but there's a whole lot of communication going on. But you're not going to let him um, come to a window of that residence and start shooting. It's you just can't. You've got to act before that happens.
That's got to be a split-second decision.
It's an absolute split-second decision. Again, you're talking to the team leader. A sniper doesn't get to just even after all of your training, you don't get to make that determination yourself. You're reporting. You have to get authority from a higher figure in the command post before they give you what's called a green light. But um, in some cases, you have that green light. And they say if he comes to the window, so it's not, you don't have to, it's not normally the situation where you have to wait till he's actively shooting at somebody. You've been reporting, and in this case, he's already made shots. So in a case like this, it's not uncommon that the snipers, are given the authority to act if he starts to act in a way that's violative of a federal deadly force policy, which means if he's going to do something that puts someone in imminent threat of death or grievous bodily harm. Nobody wants to shoot someone. It's again, it's your training, and it's sometimes you have to do something like that. But if you can take this guy into custody and no one else gets hurt, and that's the absolute best case scenario every time.